It is that time of the week, that time of the month. Another episode of Talk of the Day. It is the Fitness Abyss here. How y'all been? I missed last month, and it kind of sucks. But I mean, I had like all planned out and ready to go to do the episode. I just missed the deadline to sit there and record it. So to make up for it, I'm moving some stuff around real quick here. Hold on. I should have done this before I started recording, but I didn't. But make up for it, I'm going to give you 2 podcasts this month. I'm going to give you this one, which it's almost like it's the middle of April and I still haven't uploaded, but I'm recording this on the 16th. I wanted to have it up by the 18th. So we'll see if that happens. So hopefully this week you'll get an episode and then next week you get an episode because I've got 2 episodes plotted out, ready to be recorded. I just not sat down and recorded them. So real quick, tweak my camera a little bit. So that's why I don't know what happened back in March. I was busy and I just didn't get shit done. Okay, so how y'all been? I've been pretty good. Myself recently, I'm preparing for a wedding. I'm getting married on May the 4th. So I'm like 2 weeks, 3 weeks away from a marriage. It seems a little unreal, Anyway, last episode it was the Going Solo edition. I'm still reviewing the past 50 episodes of my podcast. I believe today is episode 53, and to continue the review series, I'm going to talk about this book, The 5 Major Pieces to the Puzzle of Life, or to the Life Puzzle. This was a 5-part series on the podcast. I broke down each one individually as an episode, and to review that today, I'm going to sit here and go over all 5 of them and briefly touch on them. Before we get into the 5 major pieces to the life puzzle by Jim Rohn, we want to talk about last month's challenge, which really was 2 months ago by now, but he's keeping count. I'm sure I'm keeping myself accountable here. The challenge was look back. Always take the time to reflect and try to focus on what's good. So look back on the past week or the past month and sit there and think what was good about it. So to celebrate that challenge for me, I'm gonna tell you my last week in general. Last week was a pretty good week. It was the eclipse last week. I sat and watched it. Did you guys watch it? Because I believe last for let's see here. I can't even put in the word for you to understand where I'm coming from when I'm talking about the last week. The day's the 16th, like I said earlier. Last week would have been April 8th through the 12th. And on April 8th, we had the eclipse. And, like, leading up to that eclipse, I was expecting so much shit. Like, I got slipped into the whole TikTok trend, and I was looking into all that doomsday shit that was going to go down on April 8th. And I was just like, interesting, all these theories that had going on with CERN, and this is going to happen, and the 3 days of darkness shit, which I didn't believe the 3 days of darkness was going to happen, but and it's just funny because it's like back in 2012, it came and it passed, and I was just like, huh. But I mean, yeah, I watched it. I watched the eclipse. It was pretty fascinating. I guess I had like special pair of glasses, and I wasn't gonna really watch it. My daughter was sick that day, so I stayed home. But the way that worked is it did half a day, so I ended up having to go to work that day. Because I split half a day with my fiance. She came home, and then I was able to go to work, and then I guess you have to watch it at work. So it was pretty nifty, I guess you could say. But in general, the week was pretty well. It was pretty good. It was a pretty good week. Highlights off of it, I can't really think off the top of my head, honestly. Go back to the past weekend. It was pretty good, relaxing weekend. I've not had them in a while. I got out there and mowed grass. First mow of the season, a little behind, but I got to prepare my backyard for my bachelor party coming up this Friday. And Sinister's in charge of that. So hopefully, because he's my best man, so hopefully he comes up with something good. Hell, I'm sure next episode I'll probably talk about it because I'll be recording next week and putting it up on Thursday. So you guys want to hear about that, talk about that bachelor party coming up. I'll talk about it next week. So, how about you guys? How's your week been? Or you're looking back on the past month? What was good? What was great? I tested out a new workout last week that I enjoyed. See, I was watching Theo Vaughn's podcast, and he had Ric Flair as a guest, and Ric Flair talked about like this whole playing cards workout, and like I've been trying to up my home workout game because like yeah, it's great at the gym and stuff, but there's stuff that I'm lacking, and I want to work out like every day, but I don't want to go to the gym every day. I want to do some stuff at home. That way I can do like in between. I'm trying to set the camera where you can see my hands where I can do things at home. So he had this playing card workout where like you flip the card and depending on what it is, uh, that's how many of those you got to do. So if I pull two of hearts, well the hearts mean push-ups. I got two, so I got to do two. That makes sense, right? And like for squats, I say the spades squat. So I've got the queen of spades. Well, that's about what 13 squats, 12 squats. Let's see. Once you get to 10, it's jack queen. So it'd be 12 squats. 12 squats. I count aces as one, but you could do the opposite if you really wanted to. When I did it, I did cardio slash abs because that's what my main focus was. I wasn't focused on doing the push ups because I work out at the gym and I get my push ups in on chest day, and I work out my muscles twice a week. But that was pretty fun. Like I'm gonna be doing it again actually after this podcast, and it'd be mainly ab focused with a little bit of cardio into it as well. But that's beside the point. So it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. So I did that. But yeah, about you guys, I was. All right. So now that we got the challenge out of the way, I keep referring to my uh outline here I got for the podcast because I went back and outlined it. I tested out the AI with this episode. During the month of March. I paid for an AI video analyzer just because I wanted to test it out. So I put some of my episodes, like actually, let me just be straight up with you. I took all these episodes, all 5 of these episodes, ran them through the analyzer, and kind of organized the notes a little bit because some of it was walky a little bit. Like I seen one that was talking about, it analyzed it, and I think it's an old episode. Me and Sinister sitting there talking. I analyzed it, and like it was talking about, it said, as one of the analyzations, it was like, and the speaker said he spent the past couple months in prison. I was like, what the fuck? I remember, and then when I actually sat and rewatched that episode, he did talk about prison, but Sinister did talk about prison, but he was just kidding about it. He was talking about what if scenarios, and like I was just like, okay, what the fuck? So there's AI video analyzing has came a long way, and I still think it's still got a little bit more to go. I just wanted to uh, play with it and see what it could really do. So for this episode, I had a bunch of notes to analyze because it gave me a bunch of shit, and I was like, well, let me kind of fix this a little bit and make it make sense a little bit better. Jim Rome. When my kids get a little bit older, I'm gonna give them this book to read first. That way they can understand the pieces of life a little bit better. Like I wish this was a graduation gift for me. I wish a book in general was a graduation gift. Not the Dr. Seuss book, but a real book that matters. I think I got All the Places You Go as a graduation gift. My uncle. And I get it's cool, but like where's the good shit at, you know? You should have gave me this book. I would have discovered Jim Rohn a little bit earlier in my life. I discovered him when I almost left this world, and I found him at the right place. That was 9 years ago. I had to look at it. What we coming up on 10 years of that? That was 9 years ago when that happened. Almost 10. Uh, Moving on. Before I get into this book, let me get a nice little drink of my pre-workout right here. Mm. I don't even know the brand I'm taking. It's like 100 milligrams. I know that. I've knocked back caffeine big time. Like it's 2 scoops. Um, it's a stimulant pre-workout, 100 milligrams, and then I stacked it with a non-stimulant. That way, my caffeine intake ain't crazy. Because I'm all about that brain health. I think when I get done talking and reviewing the episodes, I think the episode after that, my final review episode, it's going to be about your brain. Because from November to today, and it's still ongoing, I have been studying brain health. And I'll bring those books up when we talk about the episode. I'm not going to bring it up now. I'm sure I talked about it these past few episodes too on the podcast a little bit, but I think I might make a specific video episode on that. So the 5 major pieces to the puzzle of life. Let's go ahead and hit number 1, and that is your philosophy. Okay, if you have all 5 pieces, it's a great building block for you. And a philosophy is pretty much you make a commitment to personal development. That's where you should be doing. And this area hits on your thinking habits. Okay, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And if you change the way you think about yourself and the beliefs that you have for yourself, then your possibilities change. The way you think and the way you believe is pretty much your philosophy. So that's the definition of philosophy, according to my interpretation of this book. The way you think and the way you believe builds your philosophy. So what is your philosophy? Do you have a growth mindset, which is the ideal mindset to have? Now, I understand you may have a fixed mindset where it just goes wrong and fuck it and I'm walking away from it. But a growth mindset means I can use this as a building block and learn. So come at it with a growth mindset. Philosophy in itself is way more powerful than motivation. You have to believe in your ability to take action, and you got to take action. So, and that's pretty much the whole philosophy part of it. The second puzzle piece in set is your attitude, and this talks about your attitude for the past, the attitude for the present, and the attitude for your future. With that being said, you gotta have a good attitude, man. And just starting with the present, your attitude for what's possible for yourself. Always take action. Um, the future you will thank yourself for taking action. And procrastination, it just burns, man. Because then the more you procrastinate, the more regret you build. And when you ignore a problem, the problems tend to get bigger. You know what I mean? So keep a great attitude on your shoulders. Invest your time wisely and make every second count. And develop an attitude for gratitude, which means pretty much be thankful for what you have, man. Just be thankful for what you have. An attitude of gratitude. So, if you have your attitude that, things are possible, things can happen to me, and I'm going to carry that attitude out there. If you believe in the law of attraction, the universe, responds to you. You send something to the universe responds. You have a great attitude, success, you can attract that. And it helps you persevere and keep going. I'm sure many of you guys hear the Les Brown story of one guy being employed, one guy being unemployed. The one, I can't say that. I said that wrong. You got 2 people that say they worked at the factory that both got fired, right? Said, we don't need you here no more. We're getting rid of both of you. They both go out and try to find a job. Well, let's say 3 months pass. They both have nothing. 6 months pass. Both of them still trying to get a job. Nothing. Here's where the difference starts. After those 6 months, one quits. One keeps going. The one that keeps going finally gets a job on that 8th month. Well, I'm just going to use the number 8. He finally goes. This one over here, he quit. He gave up. He started watching TV all day. He said, "There's no jobs. Nobody will hire me." And he gave up. And he, you know, just started arguing with his wife. He started getting more resentful. He changed his attitude and developed a bad attitude towards life and himself. And it ate at him, ate him alive. So, you know, he finally runs out of money. He feels so discouraged and depressed and upset that he offered to take his wife and kids to school and work one day. So he went, and his wife was excited. She thought, he's going to get out there and actually get a job and try again today. I'm so proud of him. Well, here's the problem. He dropped the kids off school, dropped his wife off to work, went into the garage, and I think it plugged something up in the exhaust pipe, left the car running. And that was the end of his story. He passed away. So, the whole moral of that story is keep going, don't give up. Your attitude goes a long way for that. You have to believe that you can do it, even when nobody else can believe it. Even if you're the only one that believes it, you can do it. So you gotta change your attitude for the present. And leading that, you gotta change your attitude for the future as well. You take one step at a time. And again, every step counts. Just keep pushing forward. And the way you think about your future shapes the outcomes you can create. And again, Wayne Dyer's beautiful statement: when you change the way you look at things, things you look at change. And that's where also gratitude can come in. Like, all this stuff can go together. Now, you can't forget to let go of the past as you're developing your new attitude as well. Don't let the past experiences determine the choices you make in the future. Don't let them define who you are. Now, if you can admit you made a dumb decision, that's one thing. Don't make a dumb decision again. Like, let's say you gambled in the Vegas club, thousands of dollars, and you didn't win. And you see that as a regret. Fuck, I lost my money. I'm not saying let go of that and go push forward and throw in another 1,000 in there. Learn from that experience and say, maybe that's not the best way to invest my money. Maybe I shouldn't be gambling my money, right? So that's the point. Learn from it and move on from there. Okay. And make a decision that's, don't let the past experiences define who you are. Don't let you losing money as gambling be a reason to enable your gambling addiction. Now, you can overcome that gambling addiction. And our past can influence our decisions in the present. That's why it's so important to let go of the past. And not only that, it's so important to let go of the past because it can hold you down, man, and keep you stuck in a routine that is killing you. You drink alcohol every day, that's going to kill you, man. Every night drinking, get off work just to drink, 10, 11 beers, 6, 8 beers. That stuff, that wears you down. That's supposed to be time when you're resting. And in your mindset, the way you think, that may be your way of resting. But your body does not. Your brain has to fight that. Your body's got to fight that because you're poisoning yourself when you're drinking alcohol, man. So that adds up and it'll break you down. It'll break you down, man. So you've got to let go. Whatever reasoning you have for that, you've got to let go. You've got to find a way to let go of that. In my next podcast episode next week, we'll be talking about habits. Daily drinking, that's a habit. Alcohol in general is addiction, but habits can turn into addictions. And addictions are hard to break. Hell, it may sound like a minor addiction to some of you, but to me, pre-workout is a big addiction in my life that I have slowly been fighting, and I'm making progress. I'm no longer at that 2 scoops a day. of the high stem shit. I've cut back. And I'm making progress. But it's still hard. So breaking addictions are never easy. But they're worth it. I'm chewing a piece of ice. And from that, we go into the third piece of the puzzle, which Jim Rohn uses the word activity, which all it is taking action. Taking action is making an effort to move closer to your goals and your dreams. And affirmations are beautiful, but affirmations without discipline is the start of delusions. Don't be delusional. Take action. And taking action is one of the, things in life where I should have told myself whenever I was asking myself the question when I was out of high school. Well, if you can do whatever you want in life, this is the question I asked myself. If you can do whatever you want in life, why isn't everyone doing what they want? And the answer is there's a lot of reasons, there's a lot of answers for that. And taking action is one of them. And one's being stuck in the rat race and can't escape the rut, and the ones that live in quiet desperation. Quiet desperation is, when you get into the state of mind when you want more in life, but you never take action. You wish for a better life, but you hesitate to take the actions required to get that life because you see action as hard. And why would you see action as hard? Because it's outside your comfort zone to take that action, and you have the fear, either the fear of success or the fear of failure, and you're uncertain that you can even do it. That's why action is so hard. It gets stuck in those emotions. You get stuck into the comfort zone. You get stuck in fear, and you get stuck in the uncertainty of it. If you get those three things and you get stuck in those three things, you get stuck with the fear, you get stuck in uncertainty, and you get stuck in the comfort zone. They keep you wrapped in that web of quiet desperation. So you got to find a way to escape the rut. And the only way by doing that is take the responsibility, bring the attitude to get you out of the comfort zone, and admit that you are in control of your life. And every day is an opportunity for you to move forward in your life. So take responsibility. Say, I'm going to overcome this fear. I'm going to step into uncertainty because I'm afraid to step into that uncertainty. And I want to step outside my comfort zone one day at a time. I'm going to build discipline and I'm going to embrace the sacrifice. And you have to remember that time is our most valuable resource. But in order to correct the change that we want in our lives, we have to change the way we spend our time. Because you may sit here and say you don't have time for anything. Well, if that's the case, because I understand, yeah, you do want to do something, but you can't add time to the day. That's true. You can't add time to the day. You're right. But you can sit and see how you spend your day and be like, okay, I got to change something. Maybe I shouldn't scroll on TikTok for 2 hours a night or watch the 2-hour movie before bed every night. I don't know who's got the time to do that shit, but some people probably do. I'm not going to binge watch my show when I get off work. I'm not going to sit down and play that video game for so long when I get off work. You can make small sacrifices. Just say you play 2 hours a game. Let's play you game on Call of Duty for 2 hours every night. Well, take that 2 hours, and if you have a hard time just quitting cold turkey, then do it this way. But I have 2 hours to spend that I can sacrifice some of my Call of Duty time, or Fortnite time, or Helldivers time, or Halo time, or Whophobia time or whatever the hell you're playing. Okay, so you're on your Steam Deck, I got a Steam Deck, by the way. I bought one. Steam Deck, which I can't say that, but more like this. Steam Deck's pretty decent size. So you're on your Switch every night playing a game. So okay, so I spent 2 hours. If I can cut back 30 minutes and then spend that 30 minutes making progress, but do the hard one first. So do the progress first. Say I'm gonna spend 30 minutes doing this that get me closer to getting out of this race or giving me a better future. Working on myself to get me closer to where I want to be in life. We work for that at 30 minutes, and then I can play an hour and a half of whatever game I'm playing, Call of Duty. And if 30 minutes is start with 10 minutes. But make the effort. That's the biggest part of it. Make the effort. You got to take action. Which brings us to the fourth piece of the puzzle, which is the cause of this action, which are the results. The results are the effects of the actions. And every action we take in life, whether it's positive or negative, leads to a result. For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. That is one of my quotes that I will never forget. Not my quotes, but that's a Jim Rohn quote that I would never forget. Because it's so true. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Right? For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. So, how do you create change? One, you have to change. And you have to get better. I wrote down some steps to create better results in your life. Okay. And this is going to bring the challenge of the podcast. All right. I have a few of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps. And the challenge is I want you to do 2 of these. I want you to try 2 of these. Incorporate them in your life and see how they help improve your circumstances. 1 step. The first thing you can do to create better results in your life is read books on subjects that interest you. Read books and apply them. Like, for example, let's say you sat here and read this. When you're done reading it, how can you apply it? More recently, for me to answer this question, I have read the brain health books. And because I've been more concerned about my brain since turning 30, apparently. I don't know why, but it has. Because I sat and watched an interview with the author of the books, Daniel G. Almond, Dr. Daniel. And I watched that podcast and I was like, wow, this is insane. So I was like, I developed brain envy. And I said, I want to have a better brain. So I bought his books. From the podcast, he gave a little bit of hints, so I went there and did it. He said, biggest thing he said was, bring your caffeine intake down because it's negative. So I was like, okay, that's something I'm going to have to change. And I made a progress plan, or action plan, and I've been doing that action plan. I applied what I learned. And as I was reading his 2 books that I bought, he's got more than 2, but I spot 2. And I read his books, and while I was reading them, I wrote down things that I can take out of the book of actions I can take that would improve my brain, and I've been doing them. I'm on a supplements plan. I took a serotonin supplement. On his book, he gave you a website you can go to take a brain test, or a brain assessment is what he called it, and then he takes a guess of what type of brain type you are, and then when you get that brain type, it gives you some supplements you can have, and he put supplements you can take to help improve your brain. So I've been dabbling in that and trying out these different supplements to see where it works best. So I took some serotonin. I was taking magnesium, a bunch of different ones, Asquandia. And I went further than just that book to learn more about it. And I seen the effects of lion's mane. So I took some lion's mane. And more than just that, I've been doing things with the opposite hand. I've been pushing myself to learn a new language, learn new things in general, do things with the opposite hand to keep my brain going. I've been adjusting my diet to make it my brain healthy. So you get the point, right? So the first way is read books on things that interest you and on things that you can apply to grow your character or change your circumstance to get you closer to where you want to be. Number two is improve your current skills. Because we all have skills. You just sit and think about it and say, okay, how can I improve this skill? I'm tech savvy. Well, how can I get better at that, right? Let me learn more about technology and let me take things apart. Like I've been taking laptops apart and studying the parts on them. I'm wanting to enhance my skill of that. So more than if you go outside the realm of the current skills to push you to the third one is learn new skills, take online classes, self-study, learn new things, learn new skills because this keep learning. That also keeps your brain healthy and it helps you learn more skills, puts more value to you in the eyes of the marketplace. Four is always work on your communication skills and connect with others. Always work on your communication skills. Communication is very important. It's something that I'm working on. I don't think I'm that good at communication, to be honest, but I know I'm not the worst because I have my times where I can shine. So, I got to work on my communication skills and connect with others better. 5 is surround yourself with positive people and around people that motivate you and inspire you. So changing that environment is very important. Take out and cut out the negative people in your life. 6 is be mindful of how you spend your time. And that kind of goes into the sacrifice that I talked about when I was talking about action. Be mindful of how you spend your time. Because we only got time is very, like I said, time is the most valuable asset we have. 7 is invest a portion of your income into yourself, charity, and financial growth. So always invest in yourself and always, invest in yourself. That you don't have to, invest for your financial growth too. So put money in your, savings account or invest in the market, stock market, crypto. There's other stuff. People, heck, you can do sports now. Invest in sports players for your financial growth part, or put it in that jar, that part, or whatever you have planned for your financial goals. Give to those who need it, and always invest into yourself by like studies and books and something that will better you. So there's actually 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, there's only 7, not 8. I'm sorry. 7 of those. So out of those 7, pick 1 or 2 and apply them to your life. Read books. Improve on your current skills. Learn new skills. Work on your communication skills and connect with others. Be mindful of how you spend your time. So see how you spend your time and actually change it. And invest a portion of your income. Well, invest in your portion of income to yourself, charity, and financial gain. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, and it isn't what happens to us that defines us; it's what we do about it that defines us. And that brings us to the final piece, which is lifestyle. And you start with where you are now. You try to become a better version of yourself. So what is your lifestyle? It's pretty much the way you live, right? So here's some lifestyle builders to help you build your lifestyle. Gratitude. Practice it daily, guys. Gratitude attracts more positivity to your life and more abundance to your life. Develop a sense of urgency. There's no such thing as tomorrow, and it's never promised because tomorrow becomes today. And it's so easy to just say, I'll do it tomorrow. When tomorrow comes, even though it never comes because it becomes today, when you wake up that day, you won't feel like doing it. You'll push it off to tomorrow again. And it's never promised. One day we're going to run out of tomorrows and we're going to die. So stop procrastinating and take action now. That's what sense of urgency is. Knowing that you need to do it now. You attract what you want, man. And how do you attract what you want in life? You study what you want and what you desire. And you grow in that knowledge that pertains to that. And you take the action. Taking action is what changes your life. And then master the art of being present. Embrace the beauty in the now. And be engaged in your surroundings. And be ready to take life on. I do recommend you reading this book. It's a great book. That's why I'm going to give it to my kids when they graduate for them to read. Or heck, even when they're about there, when they get like a senior level, I'll be like, hey, I want you to read this book. Just read a little bit at a time. 5 Major Pieces of the Life Puzzle by Jim Rohn. You got attitude, action, results, lifestyle. And what was that first one? Philosophy. That is the 5 pieces of the puzzle that make up the life puzzle. And that's actually going to wrap up today's podcast. I wrapped it up in about 36 minutes. The challenge of the day, I've already talked about it. It's going to be to change your results. Try these things. Those 7 things I said. Do 1 or 2 of them, and see how it affects you. Write it down. Be like, okay, this is what happened. That's your homework for the week, for the month, really. But it's supposed to be the week because I'm recording again next week. And that's gonna do it for today's podcast. I gotta get back into the swing of doing this podcast again. I apologize for missing last month. I don't know why I didn't sit and record it because at the end of the month I had the episode planned out, ready to go. I just didn't turn the camera on to say I'm sure something happened and I was either discouraged or put my time elsewhere. Enough rambling on. You have a day to get to. You got a week to get to, and I'll see you next week. And thank you all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you next week on another edition of Talk of the Day.